Boom, just like that, guys. Harvard just got hammered, and the elites are losing their absolute freaking minds, their ever-loving minds. Kristi Noem, she just dropped the gloves and obliterated one of the most powerful institutions in America. And it's not just a slap on the wrist, folks. This is a total takedown. Over 30% of Harvard's student body on the verge of deportation. And while the media cries foul, President Trump, he just pulled the trigger on a full-blown economic war against the European Union. Guys, we're talking about 50% tariffs on everything not made in America, starting in just days. Brussels is in panic mode. You better believe that the globalists did not see this one coming, all right? In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys the real reasons behind Kristi Noem's bold move to strip Harvard of its foreign student privileges, and more importantly, why the mainstream media is going into DEFCON 1 over it. Guys, we're going to go ahead and pull back the curtain on President Trump's massive power play, how he's cornered Europe with probably one of the most brutal tariff threats in modern history, and how this is just the beginning of a new America First economic order. Oh, and wait until you hear what Trump just said about Apple. The stunning Supreme Court decision that's handing him even more power. So this is like a two-front war, guys. You got on the one side, you're going against the globalist class, and they're losing on every front. Now, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to stick around, because what I'm about to share with you guys, it's being buried by the corporate press. And you're going to want to see how this goes, okay? So let's go ahead and start off with Harvard, shall we? So the foreign cash pipeline, it just got cut. And Kristi Noem, she's not backing down. So here's what just happened. Let's go ahead and kick this off where the firestorm actually started. Harvard University, okay? You got Kristi Noem now serving as the Homeland Secretary of Security, right? She just did what nobody else had the balls to do. She officially yanked Harvard's right to host foreign students. That's right. SEVP certification terminated. It's gone. It's finished. So what exactly does that mean, right? Well, it means Harvard can no longer enroll foreign nationals under student visas. And those already enrolled, well, they got two choices: transfer to another university or face deportation. Harvard's foreign student pipeline just got obliterated. Now, this is just one of the most aggressive takedowns, crackdowns on elite academia in U.S. history. And Harvard's cushy global gravy train, it just slammed into a brick wall. And you better believe that this wasn't just some hollow threat. Kristi Noem, she sent the termination letter herself. This is real. It is happening. And it's sending shockwaves through every Ivy League institution right now. So now, let's get into the why. Because the establishment wants you to believe that this was just some political vengeance, right? I'm pretty sure you guys have heard the headlines, right? But the facts say otherwise. Noem said, or basically laid it out pretty clear. Harvard has become a breeding ground for anti-Semitism, violent protests, intimidation, silence from leaderships, and worse, collaboration with the Chinese Communist Party. You heard that right, guys. Harvard is now accused of coordinating with the CCP, turning a blind eye to criminal activity that's tied to the international programs. And on top of that, repeated refusals to cooperate with DHS investigations. They wouldn't hand over basic information for background checks. They wouldn't comply with legal oversight. And this is not about politics. This is about national security. So if Harvard thinks that this is just basically too powerful to play by the rules, well, Kristi Noem is about to check their butts, okay? Kristi Noem just reminded them who actually runs this country. And spoiler alert, it's not the Ivy League. But if you think that Harvard's having a bad week, wait until you see what Trump just did to the EU, the European Union. Okay, guys? That's right. So while Kristi Noem hits the classroom, Trump just flipped the global trade chessboard. And what he's threatening next? Well, this could collapse entire EU markets. So, yeah. Now, let's talk fallout here, because this is not just a headline. This is a bomb dropped on Harvard's entire global business model. You guys ready for this? Roughly 30% of Harvard's student body is made up of international students. Most of them paying full tuition, unfiltered, no aid. That's billions of dollars in revenue gone overnight. That's not just pocket change. That is financial collapse for their bloated elitist machine. Housing revenue, tuition revenue, international research grants. Yeah, all that stuff is at risk now. And remember, Harvard thought that it was untouchable. It's been the intellectual fortress of the globalist class for decades. But Kristi Noem, she turned that fortress into rubble. And guess what? Other universities are watching. Columbia, Yale, Stanford. They've got skeletons in their visa closets too. DHS might come a knocking. So you ever notice how turning 65 comes with more junk mail than birthday cards? Everybody wants to help with Medicare, but somehow it all ends up just being them helping themselves. Well, guys, that's why Chapter stands out. There's no gimmicks, there's no commissions, just licensed advisors who review every single plan. Every plan in your area to make sure that you make a smart money-saving choice. Julie in Kansas got out of a bad plan and saved $400 a year. Jamie in Texas, she got $600 back. So give our friends at Chapter a call. You can reach them at 909-563-8279, or better yet, hit them up on the web right now at askchapter.org/Ron. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment down below or in the description. Yeah, right on cue, guys. The meltdown has begun. CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, they're all spinning the same tired line. This is authoritarian. This is racist. This is xenophobic. Nah, right? They didn't care when Harvard let anti-Semitic mobs roam free throughout their campuses, right? You guys remember that, right? They didn't care when whistleblowers raised the alarm about CCP cash and shady foreign research programs, right? But now that Harvard's consequences have arrived, suddenly it's the end of democracy. By the way, if you're just now joining the live, please take a second and hit the like button for the video and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support, you guys, all of my fellow patriots. I really do appreciate you guys. So check this out, folks. Guys, this is not authoritarian. Since when, let me ask you this, since when is it authoritarian to enforce the law, right? It's authoritarian to give special treatment to your elite donors while ignoring national security, okay? And the real question that we should be asking is, how many of these media news outlets are funded by the same foreign interests that are protecting Harvard, all right? But trust me, guys, this story only gets bigger and deeper. Because while the elites were crying over Harvard, President Trump was busy declaring economic war on an entire continent. So we need to talk about how Trump just threatened a 50% tariff on the entire European Union, and Brussels is in full-scale panic mode. Why? Because the EU just got caught stalling while America made deals with India, Japan, and the UK. And President Trump, he's long done playing nice. So you don't want to miss what happens next, all right? So here's where the media really loses the plot, right? They cry dictator, but Trump and Kristi Noem are actually doing what the American people have been demanding for years: equal justice, national sovereignty, and an end to special treatment for the elite. The populist response is pretty clear. It's crystal clear, as a matter of fact. If a university is harboring foreign influence, refusing to cooperate with law enforcement, and letting anti-American ideology run wild, they don't deserve taxpayer support or the privilege of hosting foreign nationals. And Kristi Noem, she didn't act in a vacuum. DHS gave Harvard multiple chances, multiple letters, multiple investigations, guys. But Harvard, they ignored the law, and now the law is ignoring them. Bottom line, this ain't punishment. This is accountability. And every American family who's been told to obey the rules while watching the elites get a free pass, I think they're all standing around and they're cheering right now. So comment down below if you think that Harvard needs to get taken down a notch. So while Harvard was getting hammered back home, President Trump was flipping the global seas, okay? It's official, guys. the European Union has failed to negotiate, and now Trump's bringing the hammer, okay? So Trump just announced a massive 50% tariff on all European Union imports. This is set to go into effect June 1st, 2025. This is like days away, unless those products are manufactured right here in the USA. That's not a warning. That is a multi-day countdown to economic warfare. And the reason? The EU has been dragging their feet for months, stalling negotiations and lowballing America, while our allies like India, the UK, and Japan are signing bold, pro-growth trade deals. Trump said it himself, talks are going nowhere. So now he's drawn a line in the sand. And this isn't just about trade, it's about control. Who writes the rules, Brussels or Washington? The 50% tariff, it's not just a number. This is a megaphone to the entire world saying, look, hey, make it in America or pay the price. But here's where it gets even more dangerous for the global elites. The EU might be stalling, but some of its member nations, they don't even know what Brussels is negotiating on their behalf. Guys, we need to expose the chaos inside the European Union and how President Trump is exploiting a massive fracture that could collapse their leverage entirely. So stay locked in, guys. This trade war is only heating up. Now, we need to zoom in on what's happening inside the EU because it's an absolute train wreck. Brussels is supposed to be representing, 27 countries? But here's the kicker. Many of those countries have no clue what Brussels is even actually negotiating on their behalf. This is what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called a collective action problem. Translation: Europe is fractured, slow, and dysfunctional. And Trump, he basically had enough of waiting for 27 bureaucrats to agree on which fork to use, right? Some of these member states, they want to do business with America. They're ready to build. They're ready to deal. But unfortunately, they're handcuffed by Brussels' bloated process. And now President Trump's tariffs are exposing the cracks. Now, you got countries that didn't even know tariffs were being used until President Trump threatened them. That's not diplomacy. That's globalist chaos. And so now here's the brilliance of Trump's move. And also why the establishment is panicking. Back on April the 2nd, he issued a 90-day pause. That was pretty generous. That was fair. But he made one thing pretty clear. Use the time wisely. Don't just dick around and wait for your book report to be due after the teacher gave you like 90 days, right? Since then, India moved fast. The UK, they already inked the deal. Several Asian nations are negotiating in good faith. They want trade. They want stability. And they want access to the strongest economy in the world, which is the United States. But the EU, well, let's just say that they're still slow walking. They're still stalling. They're still playing games. And Trump's message now is unmistakable. Time's up. So what happens next? If that 50% tariff hits, and we're just days away, it will cripple key European exports. I mean, we're talking about automobiles, luxury goods, industrial equipment, boom, all suddenly taxed into oblivion. And while Europe scrambles, U.S. manufacturing gets a boost. American workers get a break. And every nation that sells a deal first, well, they get in on the action early before the new rules are cemented. And if you thought that the EU was the only target, think again, guys, because Trump's trade crackdown isn't stopping at the border. We need to talk about Apple. That's right, guys. Trump sent Tim Cook a stunning ultimatum, and it could redefine tech manufacturing as a generation. So I'm going to go ahead and break down this whole Apple threat, the semiconductor strategy, and more importantly, how this all ties into this bold new vision of economic patriotism. Shout out to my patriots in the comments down below. Let me know if you're a patriot in the comments. Guys, you're not going to want to miss this part. All right. So just when you thought the trade war couldn't escalate any further, President Trump, he turned his sights on Apple. Yes, Apple Inc., the $3 trillion tech titan, the maker of the iPhone, the iPad, the everything. Yeah, that company. In a blistering Truth Social post, Trump told Tim Cook flat out, Move your iPhone manufacturing to the United States or pay a 25% tariff. Period. Guys, I don't think that's a bluff. That's a line in the sand. And the reason? Apple continues to manufacture its devices in places like India and, until recently, communist China, while shipping the profits back to American wallets. Trump says no more. So he's demanding Apple bring its semiconductor production and precision manufacturing back home. Why? Because this is not just about phones. It's about national security. Semiconductors are the backbone of everything, from our cars to our defense systems, and Trump's message is very clear. You want to sell to America? Better go ahead and build it in America. This is economic patriotism on steroids, folks. And if Apple folds, every other tech company is going to follow. You already know that. And so just in case the swamp thought that they could slow down in the courts, the Supreme Court just dropped a nuke. In a crucial ruling, Scott has decided to side with President Trump, affirming his constitutional authority to fire members of independent federal boards. So what does this mean, right? Well, it means that the days of rogue bureaucrats sabotaging the America First agenda from inside the government are over. Trump can now clean house, remove the embedded opposition, and build an effective team that's loyal to the people, not to the alphabet agencies. So this ruling didn't just strengthen the president. It crippled the deep state's legal shield, and it sent a message loud and clear. In Trump's America, the Constitution reigns, not career swamp creatures. So, yeah. I'm going to show you guys how this is all linked together, guys. How Kristi, Noem, President Trump, tariffs, tech, and the courts are all part of this broader war against globalist institutions. And trust me, when you see how this connects to Harvard and Brussels, it's all going to make sense, guys. This big picture, the populist war that's changing the world. All right, so let's zoom out just for a second and ask the obvious questions. Why Harvard? Why the EU? Why Apple? Why now, right? Because these are the strongholds of a crippling system. Harvard, the ideological factory for the global elite. The EU, the bloated bureaucracy that wants to tell America how to trade. And Apple, the poster child for outsourcing American innovation to foreign labor, right? Now, for years, these institutions, they operated above the law. They made their billions, they shaped public policy, they silenced dissent, and they did it all while ignoring the people footing the bill, you. But that era, ladies and gentlemen, that era is now over. Kristi, Noem just kicked down the ivory tower. Trump just flipped the trade script, and the Supreme Court just handed executive power right back where it belongs, with the president elected by the people, not unelected internationalists in Brussels or deans in Cambridge. This is more than policy. This is revolutionary. It's the America First movement that's turning defense into offense. And the global elite, they're rattled. Now, don't let them tell you that this is not, don't let them tell you that, oh, what Trump's doing, this is just tough talk or some diplomatic pressure. No. What you're witnessing is economic warfare. Trump is not playing games. He's weaponizing tariffs, visa restrictions, domestic manufacturing to take down an entire system that sold out the American worker for cheap labor and some global control. Guys, Harvard's foreign cash pile system, their pipeline, it's severed, okay? Europe's free ride into America's markets, it's ending. Apple's tax-advantaged overseas manufacturing, it's under siege. These aren't isolated incidents. This is a coordinated assault on globalist infrastructure. They're using these economic tools as weapons. And the results? I think we're already seeing it. There's fear in Brussels, panic in Cambridge, silence in Silicon Valley, because it's not just about trade or education. This is about restoring the republic. So now the simple question is, well, whose side are you on, right? The side of the unelected bureaucrats? Foreign influence, elitist institutions, or the side that's fighting to bring back your jobs, your power, and your country back? Well, let me know in the comments, guys. Do you support Kristi Noem cutting off Harvard's visa racket? Do you stand with Trump taking a sledgehammer to the EU trade scams? And should Apple be forced to make iPhones in the USA or pay up? Smash the like button, guys, hit the subscribe, and be sure to share this video with someone who still thinks Harvard and Brussels run this country, because they don't anymore. And thanks to moves like this, they probably never will again. Out.